Hey guys! So today I wanted to do a video about my top 10 anime series. This is kind of part of my little series going on of my top 10. I already did my top 10 manga series. This is my top 10 anime series, and then I think the only other one I'm gonna do is my top 10 books. If there's anything else you think I should do, let me know, but I just wanted to kind of lay down the foundation since this is a new account. By the way, I'm like broadcasting my ring light to you. I'm just got a ring light. I've been trying to decide if I should keep my glasses on or keep them off so that so you know where my eyes are, but I need to see. I can't see anything. I have my notes in front of me. I'm going to be talking to like fuzz basically. So for now, this is what's going on. I'm so sorry. I look like an alien right now. But yeah, with that, let's get on to the series. Just so you know, the series aren't like from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1. These are just all as I thought of them. And if this seems a little basic to you, like the series that are on this list, just know I'm pretty new to anime. I have not been like a TV or movie or anime person, and very recently, like in the last few years, have I really gotten into anime, so bear with me. So the first series I want to talk about is Spy Family. This anime is so incredibly sweet and wholesome, but also like still very interesting and action-packed, I guess. So we have Lloyd that goes by the code name Twilight. I think Lloyd is also like his name for the mission. Obviously we don't know his real name. He's a spy, and he is tasked with having to get like a wife and a kid for his mission for world peace. I don't remember the exact details of everything, but it's all for world peace. And he ends up, the wife and the kid that he ends up getting or finding or obtaining or whatever, have their own like quirks or secrets. I feel like I should take off. I'm taking off my glasses for the rest of this. I can't see too well, but I could definitely see that you couldn't see my eyes. And it was just, I was having a hard time taking myself seriously. So we're gonna stay like this for now. Hopefully I'm able to get through it. This is a show that I would definitely categorize as both like a nice, wholesome family comedy, but also like a really fun, action-packed, chaotic series. This series is one of my favorites for a few reasons for sure, but one of the main ones is it makes you fall so deeply in love with this family. Like I don't know exactly how long we have to wait between seasons, but it feels so long because I feel like I miss them. Each character has their own life completely separate from the family unit, I guess, and they have their own set of like side characters that you get, and you just learn so much about all of them. Like this series definitely does a great job at creating an entire world around each character. Another thing is this series is just so funny. I'm constantly laughing, and the humor isn't just that, because it is just funny like in general, but a lot of the humor is just very endearing because of your relationship that you build up with the characters. And honestly, like there's only 3 seasons out, but I honestly feel like there's so much more because of how close you get to the characters already in only 3 seasons. So that's definitely something that's important to me. If you watch a lot of my content, you'll see characters and the way that they're built up and how fast you're able to build a relationship or how close you're able to get to the characters is very important to me. So another reason why I love this show is just it's a show that I get to watch, and there's like a plot line, there's story, it's super interesting, it's funny, but it's not too much to where I have like anxiety watching. So this is definitely a show I'm able to like relax and calm down and watch, still be engaged enough by the series to want to know what happens next or to want to know more and want to keep going with the story. And there's definitely so much. There's like kind of a romance subplot, or I hope there's like a romance subplot, please. And then there's also like the whole like East versus West Cold War thing going on in the background. There's the constant, am I saying too much? I think I'm gonna say too much, so I'm gonna move on from that. But this is a show I think everyone can watch. I've even been trying to get my parents to watch this. I'm still trying. I will get them to watch it. But I think this is a show anyone can watch, no matter what kind of genre you're into, or if you're into anime at all. I feel like you can still watch this. You can even watch it with like your family. but that's just my opinion. The next show that I'm going to talk about is much different than Spy Family is Gachiakuta. You know what show I'm talking about. This show is honestly like the coolest show I've watched. It's the coolest looking, coolest characters, coolest premise, coolest everything. Ruto, our main character, is a boy that is living in the slums, and he ends up getting falsely accused of murder. And what they do with their criminals in this place and trash is they throw it off a cliff into the pit. The pit is a trash-filled abyss, basically, and somehow Ruto survives this fall. You just kind of follow him, like, try and survive, basically, and that's all I'm gonna say. There's definitely like a lot more, but I'm not gonna say anything else. I definitely wouldn't say that this show is fast-paced. I wouldn't say it's not fast-paced either. It's like a lot happens every single episode, but at the same time, the series takes its time to really let you know what's going on. And even then, we still don't know what's going on. What first drew me to this show is all I knew about it was about trash. And honestly, what kept me so like locked in was it really is all about trash. I mean, like the fighting, the lore, the world building, like everything is trash. About trash, not trash. The show is great. Some other things I really love about this show is the characters and the music. This anime is the reason that I now have a playlist of my favorite anime songs. The music has continued to be great in this series, and I've even heard music that like people have made because of this show, and that's also really great. So the music, this has been like an awakening for me. Then the characters, coolest people that exist. Honestly, like the villains and the other guys are all like the coolest characters. The way they dress, the way they talk, everything about them, the way that they act, love it. So if you're into shows with like a lot of rage and revenge arcs, this is for you. It's honestly so much more than just that, but this show has rage. So if you like that, I would definitely give it a try. Again, switching the mood drastically. The next show I want to talk about is Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. This is obviously like a very comfort show. This is about Makoto, who gets isekai'd into this world, and his only skill is he can do groceries. Turns out this is the best skill you can have, because you'll see. But this show is basically just him traveling with his companions and cooking. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's just that, and honestly, that's all it needs to be. I love it. The animation it uses to show the food and the cooking and the way it talks about it, like I've learned certain tips from this show. I've learned how to cook certain things from this show. Like it's a really good cooking show, basically. And I love cooking shows. So like I said, it's a comfort show. It's very cozy, slice of life, low stakes, like literally no stakes at all. And the reason why I love it so much is just it has this ability to just put me at ease. Like I watch it and I just completely feel calm. And that's very tough for me. I've got bad anxiety. But this is just a show that definitely makes me feel so calm. It has like little stories that pop up here and there enough to keep you interested. But honestly, if it just continues being just him with his companions cooking, I'm down. I love it. We've gotten 2 seasons. I did not think we were gonna get a second season. I hope we get a 3rd season. The angle might have changed a little bit because my dog just knocked everything down. So that's why things look a little different. It's also nighttime now. I don't remember what I was saying. Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. Great show, very comfy. Love it. If you like slice of life and you want a comfort show and you also love cooking, or you like cooking shows or food, watch the show. It's great. I'm gonna move on now. The next one is Apothecary Diaries. In this one, Mao Mao is our main character, and she gets sold into the Imperial Palace as a servant girl. And basically someone or people start taking a notice into her and realizing she knows a lot more than she's letting on. and so she starts working closer to the concubines, and we basically follow her try to not gain more attention. This is a historical drama, and I definitely call it a mystery before calling it a romance, which might be different than what some people have heard about the series. There's definitely romance in the series, but you have to watch it to figure out that. This series is the reason I have gotten more into anime and has basically convinced me to give anime like the time of day. This series has been able to keep my attention the entire time. There's no like lull in the story. There's mystery, there's politics, there's tension, there's romance, there's so many different layers to this show. It's not just one thing, and you're not gonna just get one thing from the story. And there's also just a lot of humor. The show's very funny, and there's just very beautiful and tragic dynamics throughout the entire series, which I'm sure there's so much more to continue because we only have 2 seasons right now. I'm actually reading the light novels. I've only read the first 2, I think. I have the 3rd one, and I'm pretty sure season 2 is up to the 5th light novel. I definitely want to be caught up before season 3 starts airing in October, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'd love for that to happen though, but I think we're like on volume 13 of the light novel, so there's so much more to the story. I'm sure all of this extends to the whole series and gets so much more deeper than what I know. Something I think this series does very well is letting you get to know not just all the characters, but especially our main character Mao Mao. During this time, it's very clear that if you upset the wrong person, or if you just react the wrong way to someone, you can get unalived. And we see that not just in how Mao Mao speaks to people and acts with other people, but even in her inner monologue that we get, that she's still suppressing herself in her inner monologue. And the series is still able to give us so much more that we're able to kind of guess when she's doing that and how she actually feels, which I think is very impressive for a creator to make such a rounded character and do such a good job at putting that character in front of you and letting you get to know that character, to where even when that character is kind of lying to themselves, you can find the truth. I feel like this series has a little bit of everything and has something for everyone, so I think if you haven't watched it, then this is the show for you. So the next series is kind of not too different than Campfire Cooking in Another World. This series is The Way of the House Husband. This is a very silly slice of life anime. There's literally nothing to it. It's a ex-yakuza who becomes the house husband. We basically just follow him around doing errands and cooking a new recipe, or sometimes we follow his cat and his cat's adventures. It's just a really relaxing, silly show. There's nothing to it. This is a show I watched while I was dipping my toes into anime, and I don't think there's been any more that's been released. I think the manga is still releasing, and I have a few volumes of that, and I honestly think I'm gonna keep collecting it. But saying that, I think this is a great series to start with, or if you have someone in your life that's trying to get into anime, I think this is a really fun place to start. So the next one is Solo Leveling. I know this is a pretty basic thing to put on my top 10, but just keep in mind I'm new to anime, so give me some grace. So here we follow Sung Ji-woo, which is the only character that I know their name. He is like the weakest E-rank hunter, and in this world there's dungeons that open up and you basically have to beat the boss for it to close. It's basically like a job, like a 9 to 5, like a contractor would make more sense. And basically he gets into a situation where he almost dies, or he would have died if what happened didn't happen. So because he didn't die, he gains this ability to level up. And in this world, you're basically born with your rank and that's it. You can't like train to get it higher, so he ends up getting that ability to raise his rank, and you follow him level up and become like extremely overpowered and fight in more dangerous dungeons to get more money, because you find out why. This show is like insanely fast-paced and very centered around the action. honestly, the action is the reason I watched this show. I can't tell you anything about the plot. Honestly, the synopsis I gave you is all I know about what's going on. I'm just sitting there and enjoying the ride. Whatever it wants to throw at me, it'll throw at me. I'll say okay and I'll continue. But the actual plot, any of the other characters' names, I can't tell you. But this is on my top 10 because anytime I'm watching this, I feel very pumped up. Like I feel like I'm there. And the animation helps with that so much because the animation is done great. The fight scenes are given a lot of attention. But because of the animation, the music, the attention to detail, the fight scenes almost feel like they're in front of you or like you're a part of it. Like if there's one con I'd have to give to this show is the episodes are literally 1 minute long, like 60 seconds. That's the entire episode. But if you enjoy shows with like overpowered characters and great fight scenes, this is literally all the show is. So the next one I want to talk about is another pretty basic series to have on my top 10, but for other reasons, and it is Dragon Ball Z. I don't feel like I really need to explain what this show is about. Basically, our main character, Goku, protects the Earth kind of like as his training plan. And that's the show. This is one of the shows that I watched in my childhood, and since then I have watched it many times. Dragon Ball Z. I have watched Dragon Ball. I've watched it once, maybe twice, but I think just once. I've tried rewatching it, and I will, but I think Dragon Ball Z is all you need. It's not all you need, but I think it's my favorite. And finally, a couple years ago, I read the manga, which just felt like a whole new, it's the same thing. At least I don't remember any like main differences between the manga and the anime, but it really just made me feel so much more closer to the characters. I feel like reading, this is an anime video, but I feel like reading manga or a book gives you much more of a personal experience with the characters and the story. So being able to read the manga for a series of characters that I already felt so close to and so deeply for, just kind of like solidified that. This is one of those shows that I really can't tell you a favorite character. I think because I've watched it so many times and I watched this when I was young, I just love all the characters so much that it's really hard to pick one. Like, I feel so incredibly close to all of them, and I care for all of them. I am someone that, like, once I pick a favorite character, I can't let myself change it. So I do remember saying Vegeta was my favorite, so I can't go back on that. So I guess Vegeta would be my favorite character. But yeah, this is a classic. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it, and if you have watched it, you should watch it again. Kind of keeping with the theme of like classics, my next show I want to talk about, or my next series I want to talk about, is Naruto. This is a show I'm still watching for the first time, but I love it enough that I'm keeping it on here. But I'm not going to explain what this is about because I feel like everyone should know at this point what Naruto's about. It's also such a big show, I feel like it's kind of impossible to just explain it in like a sentence or two. But like I said, I'm currently watching it. If you've been watching my other stuff, you've seen me get a lot of like Naruto like merch, specifically Kakashi. He is my favorite character. But I have gotten to the point, I'm on like, I think I just started season 5, and I feel like I've gotten so into it and I feel so close to all the characters that Kakashi is still my favorite. Like I said, once I pick a favorite character, that is my favorite character. But I'm definitely growing such a fondness for all of the characters. There's not much more I can explain. Like I said, I'm watching it. I'm still trying to get through everything. I will say it's very emotional, much more emotional than I thought it was gonna be. It's also a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be, but it's very action-packed. It's very funny. It's everything everyone loves about shounen, which obviously it's definitely one of those classics. Everyone should have watched this. So same advice as Dragon Ball Z. If you haven't watched this, then this is for you, and if you have watched this, then maybe rewatch. But we're kind of sticking to this classic theme. I guess you can say this is my big 3. But the next one we're going to talk about is Bleach. Our main character, Ichigo, is someone that can see ghosts, and then stuff happens and he becomes a soul reaper and basically learns empathy. And that's the show. This is a show that it's just difficult to give a synopsis to. It is such a big show. There's so many things, and it's still going on too. So I watched this in high school. It's been a while since I've been in high school. And since it's still going on, I obviously have not finished it. I haven't tried finishing it either. I'm actually trying to read the manga right now because I've tried starting the show again so many times, and so many things have happened to make me drop it. Like, not that I haven't enjoyed the rewatch, but just things outside have forced me to drop it that I don't want to force myself to rewatch the first like 100-200 episodes again. I decided I'm just gonna try reading the manga. It's given me such a new experience when it came to Dragon Ball Z, so I decided to try it with this one too, which has been very interesting because Dragon Ball Z is something that I watched in my childhood but also rewatched as an adult a couple times, and then read the manga as an adult. Bleach is something I've only watched as like a child, and I have never rewatched it as an adult. At least I've rewatched the first like few, like 10-20 episodes as an adult, but that's basically it. Now reading the manga as an adult, I feel like such a new perspective watching everything. Something about like my favorite characters. My favorite characters were, I think, like Ichigo and Renji when I first watched it. And like I said, they will always be my favorite characters because I don't let myself switch up on people like that. But reading the manga now, one of my favorite characters, or again, this is a series where I love them all equally, but one of the characters that I'm starting to really grow a fondness for that I didn't really give attention to when I watched it for the first time is Kenpachi Zaraki. So I'm very excited to see how the rest of the series kind of feels for me now reading it as an adult and gaining this new perspective. And I honestly feel like it's going to hit like much harder, and I'm excited for this time to finally like get through the whole series and get the whole story. The way I was watching it in high school was not it was allegedly not a legal site. Maybe, I don't know. So I remember getting to a certain point where I couldn't find the next episode, and that's when I kind of like gave up. And this is, again, in high school, I was not into anime. This is just a show I started watching. And I remember wanting to get into anime after this, and I basically just tried finding a show that was exactly like Bleach, and I couldn't because I realized I just wanted Bleach. So I just gave up on trying to get into anime. I like this show for a lot of the same reasons I like Gachiakuta, in that the characters are so incredibly cool. I think that's something that a lot of people talk about with Bleach. And the intros and the outros really show how cool these characters are. The whole premise of the show is cool. The way that the characters dress is cool. Everything about it is so cool. But also the music. I'm constantly listening to Bleach music. I have a playlist of just Bleach music. I call it Bleach music like if it's a genre. Great music. I think this series is really known for its music too, so it's not just me. The animation was done very well. I feel like it was done much better than its time. Like, it was way before its time. Especially the fighting scenes were great. I just think this is something everyone needs to watch. My last series is Romantic Killer. This is like the cutest anti-romance. And if you've watched it, you completely understand what I'm saying. We basically have Anzu, our main character. She is a gamer girl who loves chocolate and her cat. And this like magical being, or magical whatever it is, basically comes in and is like, this is really boring, and starts using their magic to force her into romantic situations with multiple love interests. And it is just, what comes out of it is so funny. It's actually really sweet, and honestly it got very interesting. I think this show could have been so much longer. I think the series itself, like if it was like the anime is like a season but the manga continues, I would have been reading the manga, but it just ended. But it honestly gets to a point where I could have watched so much more. Like, I felt like the story was getting like not more serious but deeper, and then it just ended, which not a problem. The way it ended wasn't horrible. I did love it, but I would have stayed for more. This is the first anime I watched like by myself. because I didn't start getting into anime or like manga or really anything in that world until my boyfriend came into my life. Before that, I didn't really have anyone around me that was into any of that stuff. So a lot of the series that I started watching as I was trying to get into it was with him. And this is the first series I watched by myself, and I really enjoyed it. And I made the decision to keep watching. I didn't have him like next to me going, no, it gets better. I drop shows very quickly. But this is the first show like I watched myself. No one had to tell me to keep going. Like, I was interested in it. I think I watched it in one sitting. And it's also the first romance anime that I watched. And this is kind of like, I'm still trying to find something that's like Romantic Killer. But yeah, this made me laugh so much. It made me feel so entertained in such a, like, it's kind of like a reality TV, like what reality TV does, where like the magical being is kind of like forcing certain situations to happen to be so entertaining. So you get that entertainment too. Like the same kind of enjoyment you get watching a reality show is kind of what you get watching this, but you get a little bit of the behind the scenes and obviously a much more like silly, chaotic version than probably what actually happens. Yeah, if you want like a fun, silly romance, I would definitely watch this. I also think if you just don't really care for romance, you'd still really enjoy this, because I wouldn't say it's like super romantic, and it's also short, so obviously nothing develops too much, but this is just very enjoyable. So if you just like silly anime, I would watch this. That was the video. I'm sorry if like towards the end I kind of lost all my energy. Not having my glasses on made my eyes really tired, and it's kind of made me start developing a headache. I just felt like I looked like an alien with my glasses on, with the ring light shining into my eyes. Honestly, the ring light was also giving me a headache, but the show must go on. If you guys liked my video, like, subscribe, follow me on all my stuff. I've been trying to remember to say these things after the video, but yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, obviously I'm new to anime, so the more recommendations the better. I will try anything. If you think I'd like anything after watching this video, let me know. If you have your own opinions about anything that I mentioned here, please let me know. I hope I did a good job. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully I get the other ones out soon. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.